What if I told you that following just 12 simple rules could help you bring order to chaos, find true meaning in life, and unlock your full potential? Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly what Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, a renowned psychologist and best-selling author, explores in his book 12 Rules for Life, an Antidote to Chaos. These aren't just rules. They're profound life lessons that are grounded in philosophy, psychology, science, and timeless wisdom, offering a roadmap to navigate the complexities of modern life. From tackling the personal challenges we all face to understanding how to deal with the world's chaos, Peterson's rules are designed to help us take responsibility for our lives, develop meaningful relationships, and find purpose in a world that often feels overwhelming. These rules provide not just theoretical knowledge, but actionable insights you can implement immediately in your daily life. So, grab a seat and get ready to explore these 12 transformative rules. Each one is packed with stories, reflections, and lessons that can change how you see yourself and the world around you. Whether you're seeking balance, purpose, or personal growth, these rules are meant to guide you toward a better, more fulfilled life. Let's dive in and explore what these 12 rules have to offer. Chapter 1. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. What if I told you that your posture could change the way the world treats you? Imagine this. You're not just anyone. You're a lobster. Yes, a lobster. Picture yourself deep under the ocean, locked in a battle with another lobster over territory. Claws clash, antennae flail, and the winner emerges victorious, standing tall and proud. Meanwhile, the defeated lobster retreats, shrinking into itself, its body curled and its spirit crushed. As strange as it sounds, this is where Jordan Peterson begins his exploration of human behavior in 12 Rules for Life. Lobsters, those ancient creatures that have existed for hundreds of millions of years, have a lot in common with us when it comes to social dynamics. When a lobster wins a fight, it doesn't just claim victory, its entire body chemistry changes. Its serotonin levels rise, giving it a confident posture, a literal standing tall. On the other hand, the defeated lobster slumps, signaling submission. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not a lobster. What does this have to do with me? But here's the thing. Humans have inherited similar behavioral patterns. Your posture, your confidence, and the way you carry yourself create ripples in how you are perceived and treated by others, and how you perceive yourself. Peterson's first rule is deceptively simple. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. But don't mistake its simplicity for lack of depth. This isn't just about looking confident. It's about rewiring how you interact with the world. Think about the last time you slouched, head down, shoulders drooped. How did it feel? Probably not great. When we shrink ourselves physically, we also shrink mentally. It's as if we're telling the world, I'm not ready. I'm not capable. And guess what? The world often believes what you project. Now flip the script. Straighten your back. Pull your shoulders back. Lift your chin and look ahead. That simple change does something incredible. It tells your brain that you're strong, capable, and ready to face challenges. This small adjustment creates a positive feedback loop. You start feeling more confident, which changes how others perceive you. They treat you with more respect, which in turn boosts your self-esteem. And just like that, you've stepped into a virtuous cycle of confidence and capability. Peterson connects this idea to biology and psychology. When you stand tall and adopt a powerful posture, your brain chemistry shifts, much like the victorious lobster. It's all about serotonin, a neurotransmitter that regulates mood, confidence, and social behavior. Higher serotonin levels make you feel assertive and less prone to anxiety, which is why adopting a confident posture can actually make you feel more capable. This concept also ties into dominance hierarchies, which aren't just about lobsters but exist in every social structure, from animals to humans. In these hierarchies, those who act confidently tend to rise higher, while those who shy away often find themselves stuck at the bottom. By standing tall, you're signaling to yourself and to others that you belong at the top, or at least that you're ready to fight for your place there. So, how can you apply this rule in your daily life? Start small. The next time you walk into a room, take a deep breath and straighten your back. Lift your head high and look people in the eye. Speak with clarity and purpose. Here's a challenge. The next time you feel nervous, whether it's before a presentation, a meeting, or even a conversation, pause and adjust your posture. Feel the shift as you stand tall. You might not notice the change immediately, but over time, you'll see how people respond differently to you. Even beyond physical posture, this rule is a metaphor for how you approach life. Standing up straight means facing your challenges head-on instead of shrinking away. It's about believing in your own strength, even when you're unsure of the outcome. Confidence isn't just a state of mind. It's a state of being. When you stand up straight with your shoulders back, you're doing more than improving your posture. You're sending a signal to the world and to yourself. I'm ready. I'm capable. I'm here to face whatever comes my way. So, embrace your inner lobster. Stand tall. Face the world with courage, because confidence is contagious. And it all begins with how you carry yourself. Chapter 2. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. Let me ask you something. Why is it that we often treat our pets better than we treat ourselves? Think about it. If your dog or cat needed medication, you'd be on it without hesitation, carefully following the vet's instructions, no matter how inconvenient. But what happens when it's your own prescription? You might forget to take it, push it aside, or convince yourself that you don't really need it. This is the paradox that Jordan Peterson explores in his second rule. Why do we care so deeply for those we love, but fail to extend the same compassion and responsibility to ourselves? The answer lies in how we perceive our own worth. Peterson points out that many of us treat ourselves as if we're unworthy of care. Maybe it's because we're too hard on ourselves, constantly replaying our mistakes. Maybe it's because we think sacrificing for others is more noble than prioritizing our own needs. But here's the truth. Neglecting yourself doesn't help anyone. Imagine this scenario. Your best friend is going through a tough time. They're overwhelmed, exhausted, and unsure of how to move forward. Would you tell them to toughen up and stop whining? Of course not. You'd probably offer them support, advice, and encouragement. Now, imagine if you treated yourself the same way. What would happen if, instead of criticizing yourself for feeling tired or failing at something, you approached yourself with kindness and understanding? Peterson argues that to truly thrive, you must treat yourself as if you were someone you're responsible for helping. This isn't about being selfish. It's about recognizing your inherent value as a person. You wouldn't let someone you care about skip meals, live in chaos, or burn out from overwork. So why do you let it happen to yourself? Taking care of yourself means doing the things you know are good for you, even when it's hard. It means eating nutritious food, exercising regularly, and getting enough sleep, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. It means setting boundaries with people who drain your energy and saying no when you need to protect your mental and physical health. This rule challenges you to become your own advocate. It's about saying, I matter. My health, my happiness, and my well-being are worth fighting for. Peterson connects this idea to a deeper moral responsibility. If you don't take care of yourself, how can you expect to care for others? Think about the flight safety instructions you hear every time you board a plane. Put on your own oxygen mask before assisting others. Why? Because if you pass out, you won't be able to help anyone. This principle applies to all aspects of life. Parents, for example, often sacrifice everything for their children, believing that's what good parenting requires. But when they neglect their own health or happiness, they risk burning out and becoming less effective caregivers. By prioritizing self-care, they're better equipped to provide the love and support their children need. So, how do you begin treating yourself with the same care and compassion you'd show a loved one? Start with these steps. 1. Acknowledge your worth. Remind yourself that you are valuable. You have the right to be happy, healthy, and fulfilled. 2. Make time for self-care. Schedule moments in your day to prioritize your needs. Whether it's a morning walk, a healthy meal, or quiet time to reflect, treat it as non-negotiable. 3. Set boundaries. Learn to say no to things that don't serve you. Protect your time and energy from unnecessary stressors. 4. Practice self-compassion. When you make mistakes, forgive yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. 5. Take responsibility. Recognize that caring for yourself is your responsibility, not anyone else's. Own it, and take small steps toward better habits. Here's a simple exercise. Picture yourself as a child, vulnerable and in need of care. Now imagine that child comes to you for help. Hungry, tired, and overwhelmed. What would you do? You'd probably comfort them, feed them, and make sure they're okay. Now realize that you are still that person, deserving of the same care and attention. The message here is clear. You matter. Your health, your happiness, and your well-being are not luxuries. They're necessities. When you start treating yourself as someone worth caring for, you unlock the potential to live a fuller, richer life. So, the next time you find yourself neglecting your needs, remember this. You wouldn't let your dog skip a meal, so why would you do that to yourself? Be your own advocate. Show up for yourself. Because when you take care of yourself, you're not just improving your own life. You're setting the foundation to support and uplift those around you. Chapter 3. Befriend people who want the best for you. Let's start with a question. Have you ever had a friend who made you feel drained, unmotivated, or even worse about yourself after spending time with them? Now, contrast that with a friend who lifts you up, celebrates your wins, and pushes you to grow. The difference is night and day, right? Jordan Peterson's third rule dives deep into the impact of friendships on our lives. We often underestimate just how much the people around us influence who we are and who we become. It's not just a matter of proximity or shared interests. It's about choosing people who genuinely want the best for you and inspire you to be your best self. You've probably heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, Peterson doesn't just agree with this idea, he expands on it. Your closest relationships are like a mirror, reflecting back your habits, mindset, and aspirations. Surround yourself with people who are toxic, negative, or self-destructive, and it's almost inevitable that you'll absorb some of those traits. On the flip side, being around supportive, ambitious, and kind-hearted people can ignite your own potential. These are the friends who encourage you to chase your dreams, call you out when you're slacking, and celebrate your successes as if they were their own. Peterson emphasizes that good friends aren't just there to agree with you or tell you what you want to hear. Real friends are there to challenge you. They'll hold you accountable when you're veering off track. They'll push you to grow, even if it means having uncomfortable conversations. A great friend doesn't enable your bad habits. They help you overcome them. For example, if you're stuck in a rut, complaining about your job, but doing nothing to change it, a good friend won't just nod sympathetically. They'll encourage you to take action, maybe even push you to start applying for better opportunities. But here's the catch. These types of friends are rare. They're the ones who invest in you because they care about your well-being, not because they're trying to get something in return. To illustrate this rule, Peterson shares real-life stories of people trapped in toxic relationships. He describes individuals stuck in cycles of negativity because they surround themselves with people who reinforce bad behaviors, whether it's substance abuse, laziness, or destructive thinking. But Peterson also highlights the transformative power of healthy friendships. He shares stories of people who, with the right support system, were able to pull themselves out of darkness and rebuild their lives. The common thread? They had friends who believed in their potential and encouraged them to strive for something better. One of the toughest lessons in this chapter is learning to let go of friendships that no longer serve you. It's not easy to walk away from people you've known for years, especially if you have a shared history. But sometimes, holding on to toxic relationships does more harm than good. Peterson urges us to audit our relationships regularly. Ask yourself, are the people in my life lifting me up or dragging me down? Do they encourage my growth, or do they hold me back? If the answer is the latter, it's time to reevaluate. Letting go of toxic friendships doesn't mean you hate those people or wish them ill. It simply means prioritizing your own well-being and growth. So, how do you find and nurture friendships with people who want the best for you? Here are some practical steps. 1. Seek out like-minded individuals. Join groups or communities that align with your values and interests. Whether it's a book club, a fitness group, or a professional network, surrounding yourself with goal-oriented people increases your chances of finding meaningful connections. 2. Be a good friend yourself. Healthy friendships are a two-way street. If you want friends who inspire and support you, be that kind of friend to others. Celebrate their wins, listen to their struggles, and challenge them to grow. 3. Set boundaries. If someone consistently brings negativity into your life, it's okay to distance yourself. Protecting your energy and mental health is not selfish. It's necessary. 4. Be open to change. As you grow and evolve, your friendships might change too. That's okay. Embrace the people who align with your journey and be willing to let go of those who don't. Here's something to try. Picture your ideal self 5 years from now. What kind of person do you want to be? Now, think about your current circle of friends. Are they helping you get closer to that version of yourself? Or are they holding you back? If the answer isn't clear, it's time to make some changes. Your friendships are a reflection of your life's trajectory. By surrounding yourself with people who genuinely care about your well-being and want to see you succeed, you're setting yourself up for a brighter future. Remember, real friends don't just cheer you on from the sidelines. They walk the journey with you, pushing you to be better every step of the way. So, take a moment to audit your relationships. Choose people who uplift and inspire you, and don't be afraid to let go of those who don't. Because at the end of the day, the company you keep shapes the person you become. Chapter 4. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Let's start with a scenario. You wake up, scroll through social media, and see someone your age posting about their new job, luxury vacation, or seemingly perfect life. You feel a pang of envy, frustration, or even failure. Sound familiar? Jordan Peterson argues that this endless cycle of comparison is one of the most destructive traps we can fall into. The modern world, especially with social media, has made it incredibly easy to compare ourselves to others, but it's a rigged game. Here's why. We're comparing our raw, unpolished, behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's carefully curated highlight reel. We don't see their struggles, insecurities, or the sacrifices they made to achieve what they're flaunting. And yet, we let these incomplete glimpses into someone else's life dictate how we feel about our own. Peterson explains that when we constantly measure ourselves against others, we set ourselves up for failure. There will always be someone wealthier, smarter, more talented, or more attractive. It's an unwinnable race. This mindset can breed resentment, self-doubt, and even paralyze us from making progress. Why bother trying when someone else is already doing it better? But here's the thing. Life isn't about outshining others. It's about becoming a better version of yourself, day by day. Instead of comparing yourself to others, Peterson suggests a radical yet simple idea. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Focus on your own progress, no matter how small. Ask yourself, did I learn something new today? Did I handle a situation better than I would have a year ago? Am I taking steps toward my goals, even if they're tiny ones? This shift in perspective does two powerful things. One, it keeps you grounded in your own reality. You're not chasing someone else's dream. You're building your own. Two, it makes success attainable. Progress doesn't have to be monumental. Even a 1% improvement each day adds up to massive growth over time. Peterson emphasizes that life is not a one-size-fits-all journey. Each person has unique strengths, weaknesses, and circumstances. Comparing yourself to someone else is like comparing a fish to a bird. They're not playing the same game. Take a moment to reflect. What does success look like for you? Not for your friends, colleagues, or favorite influencers, for you. When you define your own metrics, the journey becomes more meaningful and fulfilling. To illustrate this rule, Peterson shares the story of a struggling student who was failing in school. Instead of comparing their grades to the class's top achievers, the student shifted their focus inward. They asked themselves, what can I do to be slightly better today than I was yesterday? By setting small, achievable goals, studying an extra hour, asking questions in class, or completing one more problem set, they steadily improved. Over time, those incremental gains transformed their academic performance. This story highlights an essential truth. Progress is a personal game. When you stop obsessing over others and start competing with yourself, you create a momentum that's both sustainable and rewarding. Here are some actionable steps to start comparing yourself to your past self, not others. 1. Track your progress. Keep a journal or list of small wins each day. Whether it's finishing a task, learning something new, or simply getting out of bed on a tough day, document it. 2. Set personal goals. Focus on what you want to achieve. Break big goals into smaller, manageable steps and celebrate each milestone along the way. 3. Limit social media. Social media can distort your perception of reality. Consider taking breaks or unfollowing accounts that trigger unnecessary comparisons. 4. Practice gratitude. Reflect on how far you've come instead of fixating on how far you still have to go. Gratitude shifts your focus to what's working in your life. 5. Embrace imperfection. Growth isn't linear, and setbacks are part of the process. Be kind to yourself and keep moving forward. When you focus on your own growth, something magical happens. You inspire others to do the same. People notice your determination, resilience, and authenticity. They see that you're not trying to outshine them. You're simply trying to better yourself. And that's contagious. It creates a ripple effect, encouraging those around you to embrace their own journeys of self-improvement. Imagine a version of yourself 5 years from now. What would they say to you today? Would they thank you for taking small steps toward a better future? Or would they wish you'd started sooner? Your only competition is the person you were yesterday. Keep that in mind every time you feel the urge to compare yourself to someone else. Life isn't about perfection. It's about progress. By measuring success through your own growth, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of comparison. So, take a deep breath, look in the mirror, and ask yourself, am I better today than I was yesterday? If the answer is yes, even in the smallest way, then you're on the right path. Because at the end of the day, the only person you need to surpass is the person you were yesterday. Chapter 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Parenting is one of the most challenging and rewarding experiences a person can have. From sleepless nights to school projects, the job of a parent never ends. Yet, in the midst of all the chaos, there's a core principle that can guide every parent in raising healthy, responsible, and happy children: discipline. In Chapter 5 of 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson emphasizes the importance of discipline in parenting, suggesting that it's not only necessary, but also an act of love. The idea may sound counterintuitive at first. How can discipline, which often involves correction, be loving? But Peterson explains it clearly. When you allow your children to misbehave or act out without consequences, you're not doing them any favors. In fact, you're setting them up for failure in the real world. So, what exactly does discipline look like in the context of parenting? According to Peterson, it's not about being overly strict or punishing children for every little mistake. Instead, discipline is about teaching your children that their actions have consequences. Every choice they make, good or bad, will lead to some kind of result, and it's your responsibility as a parent to make sure they understand that. Imagine preparing your child for the real world, where actions have outcomes. If a child is allowed to scream, yell, or hit others without any repercussions, they'll quickly learn that their behavior is acceptable. But in the real world, such behavior will not be tolerated. No employer, friend, or future partner is going to appreciate someone who throws tantrums when things don't go their way. So, by instilling boundaries early on, you're teaching your child vital life skills like responsibility, respect, and self-control. Think about it. The world is a place that demands respect, accountability, and structure. Peterson suggests that you can't give your child a free pass when it comes to behavior, because life won't give them that either. If they grow up with a mindset that they can get away with anything, whether it's lying, cheating, or being disrespectful, how will they fare when they face situations where their actions really matter? This doesn't mean you have to turn your home into a military boot camp. It's not about harsh punishment or denying your child's individuality. Instead, it's about setting clear, consistent boundaries and lovingly guiding them to understand why these boundaries matter. It's about teaching them that while they might be able to get away with things at home, the outside world isn't so forgiving. When you enforce rules and boundaries, you're showing your child that you care about them and their future. If you let your child make mistakes without teaching them the consequences, you're leaving them unprepared for the adult world. They might go through life thinking they can manipulate situations to their advantage, but eventually, they'll face a moment when their behavior will have real consequences: loss of friendships, failure at work, or even a sense of deep loneliness and confusion. Children don't always understand why they need to be kind, respectful, or disciplined in their actions, but it's our job as parents to guide them. When you discipline your child, you're teaching them respect, not just for you, but for others, for society, and ultimately for themselves. This act of teaching them the right way to behave will not only help them avoid potential pitfalls, but it will also help them develop the self-respect necessary to lead a fulfilling, successful life. So, how can you put this into practice? Peterson's rule is simple. Don't let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect or never make mistakes as a parent. It simply means you need to be consistent and fair with your discipline, even when it's hard. By doing this, you're teaching your children how to navigate the complexities of life with integrity and respect for others. You're not just raising children. You're raising adults who will one day enter the world, ready to face challenges and treat others with kindness and responsibility. In this way, discipline becomes a gift that you give to your children, one that will continue to benefit them long after they've grown up. Discipline is not something parents should shy away from. It's an act of love, care, and preparation. By teaching your children boundaries and the consequences of their actions, you're giving them the tools they need to succeed in life. You're teaching them kindness, respect, and accountability, values that will serve them well in every aspect of their lives. So, be firm, be fair, and remember that discipline is one of the greatest gifts you can give your child. Chapter 6. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. In today's world, it's easy to look around and feel overwhelmed by all the problems. From global conflicts to environmental issues to personal frustrations, there's no shortage of reasons to feel like the world is a chaotic mess. In these moments, it can be tempting to start pointing fingers, criticizing others, and thinking, if only they do this differently, everything would be better. But in Chapter 6 of 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson offers a simple yet powerful piece of advice. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that the world needs fixing, especially when things don't seem to be going the way we want them to. The news is filled with problems, and social media amplifies them every day. But Peterson argues that before we rush to fix the world, we first need to look inward and ask ourselves, is my own life in order? When we think about setting our house in order, Peterson isn't suggesting we need to create a perfect life. After all, perfection is impossible. Rather, he's emphasizing the importance of accountability. Are we taking responsibility for our own actions? Are we living in alignment with our core values? Are our personal lives, whether that's our finances, relationships, or health, in a state that we can feel proud of? You can't expect to influence the larger world if you haven't first taken responsibility for your own life. Let's take an example. If your finances are in disarray, your home is cluttered, and your health is declining, how can you expect to make a meaningful impact on global issues like poverty, climate change, or social justice? The truth is, when we're not taking care of our own lives, we become too distracted and overwhelmed to focus on anything outside of ourselves. But when you set your own house in order, you start to feel more grounded and capable of making a difference. Peterson's point is simple. When you take control of the things you can control, your actions, your habits, your choices, you'll be in a much stronger position to address the bigger problems in the world around you. So, how do we begin? Setting your house in order doesn't mean achieving perfection. It means being intentional about the areas of your life that you can improve. For example, your finances. Are you spending more than you're earning? Are you in debt? Are you budgeting and saving wisely? Your health. Are you getting enough exercise? Are you eating foods that nourish your body? Are you taking care of your mental well-being? Your relationships. Are you treating the people in your life with respect and care? Are you resolving conflicts or avoiding them? Your home. Is your living space organized and clean? A cluttered environment often reflects a cluttered mind. So creating order in your physical surroundings can have a positive impact on your mental state. This isn't about making everything perfect. It's about taking small, consistent actions to improve the areas of your life that you have control over. When you begin to set your life in order, something remarkable happens. You become a more effective person. You'll feel more confident, more focused, and more capable of making positive changes, both in your own life and in the world. As Peterson puts it, when you take responsibility for your own life, you're in a better position to make meaningful changes in the world. Imagine the impact of thousands of people, each taking responsibility for their own lives, setting their houses in order. The ripple effect would be incredible. Instead of criticizing others or waiting for someone else to solve the world's problems, you would become part of the solution, not just in your own life, but in the lives of those around you. You'd be a role model, showing others that change doesn't have to come from the top down. It starts with you, in your home, with your choices. When we focus on getting our own lives in order, we stop feeling helpless or hopeless about the world. Instead, we become empowered. We understand that while we can't solve every problem, we can start with the ones closest to us, the ones we can control. Personal accountability is the first step toward larger societal change. If we all worked on improving ourselves first, we would naturally see a positive shift in the world around us. Change doesn't start with grand gestures or criticizing the state of the world. It begins with you, your actions, your habits, your choices. By setting your own house in order, you not only improve your own life, but also become a part of the larger change that the world desperately needs. Focus on what you can control, and the ripple effect will follow. Chapter 7. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. We've all been there, tempted by the allure of instant gratification. Whether it's a quick snack, an impulse purchase, or procrastinating just a little longer, the pull of convenience can be powerful. But in Chapter 7 of 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson reminds us that while shortcuts may offer immediate satisfaction, true happiness and fulfillment come from pursuing meaning, not expediency. In a world where everything is accessible with the tap of a button, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking immediate rewards. Social media notifications, binge-watching TV shows, or buying things we don't need. They all promise quick fixes to our desires. But Peterson challenges us to look beyond these quick wins and ask ourselves, what am I truly after? The difference between pursuing what is expedient and what is meaningful is the difference between chasing momentary pleasure and working towards something that provides lasting satisfaction. Instant gratification is about the here and now, while meaningful pursuits require patience, sacrifice, and long-term effort. Peterson's rule is simple. Choose what is meaningful, not what is expedient. But how do we apply this in our daily lives? Take a moment to consider the areas that matter most to you. Your career, your relationships, and your personal goals. Career. It's easy to chase after promotions or opportunities that offer immediate rewards. Higher pay, greater status, or a quick boost to your ego. But what if the path you're on doesn't truly align with your values? What if, in your pursuit of convenience, you're sacrificing something deeper that could lead to greater fulfillment? Meaningful work often involves sacrifice, hard decisions, and long hours, but in the end, it brings a sense of pride and purpose that short-term success never will. Relationships. Building strong, lasting relationships takes time and effort. You might be tempted to take the easy road, having shallow, transactional interactions or avoiding difficult conversations. But relationships that truly matter are built on trust, vulnerability, and deep emotional connection. They require sacrifices, hard work, and sometimes a lot of patience. The rewards, however, are immeasurable, offering a depth of fulfillment that superficial connections can never provide. Personal goals, whether it's fitness, learning a new skill, or personal growth, the path to achieving your goals is rarely smooth or immediate. It's often filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. The temptation to take shortcuts can be strong, skipping a workout or taking the easy way out. But true growth comes from facing those challenges head-on, pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, and staying committed even when the going gets tough. Pursuing what is meaningful isn't always easy. In fact, it's often the harder path. It requires sacrifice, delayed gratification, and sometimes even failure along the way. But Peterson argues that the rewards are far greater than anything offered by shortcuts. When you invest your time and energy into meaningful pursuits, you create a life that has depth, purpose, and a sense of achievement that instant gratification could never provide. Think about the people who inspire you most, whether they are artists, leaders, or entrepreneurs. Most of them didn't get to where they are by taking the easy route. They faced obstacles, made tough decisions, and spent years honing their craft or working toward their goals. And in the end, their success is not just defined by their accomplishments, but by the sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing they worked hard for something that truly mattered. The reason meaningful pursuits are so important is because they give us a sense of purpose. Without purpose, life can feel empty, as though we are merely going through the motions. When we focus on what is expedient, we are often avoiding something deeper, something that requires us to confront our fears, face challenges, and grow as individuals. Meaning gives us direction, and that direction is what fuels our motivation and helps us endure when things get tough. By choosing meaning over convenience, we align ourselves with a life that is fulfilling not because it's easy, but because it's real. And that sense of authenticity is what makes the hard work worth it. It's easy to chase after what's quick and easy. But Peterson's message is clear. True happiness and fulfillment come from pursuing what is meaningful. The path may be more difficult, but the rewards are far greater. By focusing on what adds real value to your life, whether that's in your career, relationships, or personal growth, you create a life that is rich in purpose, satisfaction, and long-term fulfillment. So, next time you're faced with a choice between instant gratification and long-term fulfillment, ask yourself, what truly matters to me? The harder path may require more effort, but the rewards will be worth it. Chapter 8. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Lying seems harmless, especially when it's just a small, white lie meant to spare someone's feelings or avoid conflict. But Jordan Peterson's 8th rule in 12 Rules for Life offers a powerful reminder. Lies, no matter how small, erode trust and integrity. Honesty, on the other hand, is essential for building meaningful relationships and living a life grounded in truth. While telling the truth might not always be easy, it is undeniably important for living with authenticity and purpose. We all know what it feels like to tell a little white lie. Perhaps it's a harmless exaggeration to make a story sound more exciting, or an excuse to get out of an uncomfortable situation. On the surface, these lies seem trivial, even inconsequential. After all, they don't hurt anyone, right? But Peterson warns that lies, no matter how small, can have a much bigger impact than we realize. Lying might seem like a shortcut to avoid discomfort, but over time, even small lies build up. They undermine the trust we share with others, erode our sense of integrity, and create a disconnect between the image we present to the world and the reality we live. The more we lie, the harder it becomes to remember the truth, and the more fragile our relationships become. Peterson's message is simple but profound. Lying creates a gap between who we are and who we pretend to be, and this gap eventually takes a toll on our happiness and sense of self-worth. Telling the truth isn't always comfortable. In fact, it can be downright difficult, especially when the truth is inconvenient or might hurt someone's feelings. But honesty is not about saying whatever is on your mind at any given moment. It's about speaking your truth with integrity and being transparent with yourself and others. Being honest means confronting uncomfortable realities, owning up to your mistakes, and being vulnerable enough to share your true feelings, even when it's easier to hide behind a lie. It also means not allowing others to live in deception or enable dishonesty. By speaking the truth, you not only show respect for yourself, but for others as well, creating a foundation of trust that is essential for deep, meaningful relationships. At its core, honesty is a cornerstone of building real, authentic relationships. When we lie, even with the best intentions, we build walls between ourselves and others. People can sense when something isn't quite right, and dishonesty creates a sense of distance that makes true connection impossible. On the other hand, when we speak the truth, no matter how difficult, we create space for genuine relationships based on trust, mutual respect, and understanding. For example, consider the difference between a friendship built on truth versus one built on lies. A friendship founded on honesty, where both people feel comfortable sharing their true selves, is far more fulfilling and lasting than one where the truth is always hidden behind polite words or convenient fabrications. In truth, honesty invites vulnerability, and vulnerability is the key to true intimacy. When we allow ourselves to be seen for who we really are, we give others the chance to do the same. Honesty isn't just about telling the truth to others. It's also about being honest with yourself. We often lie to ourselves about our weaknesses, our fears, and our desires. We hide from the truth because facing it can be painful. But when we face the truth, we begin to take responsibility for our lives and start living with integrity. Living with integrity means aligning our actions with our values. It means acting in a way that is true to who we are, even when it's difficult. It means not compromising on what we know is right, even when it would be easier to take the dishonest route. Peterson argues that integrity is the foundation of a meaningful life, and integrity is only possible when we commit to telling the truth, both to ourselves and others. So, what's at stake if we choose to keep lying, even in small ways? The cost of dishonesty might seem minor at first, an unimportant lie here or there, but over time, it adds up. Small lies lead to bigger ones, and eventually, the truth becomes harder to uncover. Dishonesty isolates us from others, prevents us from building meaningful relationships, and robs us of our own sense of integrity. We might gain temporary comfort from lying, but in the long run, the toll it takes on our sense of self and our relationships is far more painful. At the end of the day, honesty is not just about telling the truth to others. It's about being true to yourself and building a life that reflects who you really are. Peterson's rule reminds us that honesty is a cornerstone of a meaningful life. It's not always easy, but it is essential for living with integrity, building trust, and creating authentic relationships. Even when the truth is uncomfortable or difficult to face, speak it anyway. In the long run, the rewards of honesty, self-respect, strong relationships, and peace of mind are far greater than any temporary comfort offered by a lie. Chapter 9. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't. In a world full of noise and constant distractions, it's easy to forget the power of simply listening. We're often too busy thinking about our response, waiting for the right moment to jump in with our thoughts or opinions. But Jordan Peterson's 9th rule in 12 Rules for Life flips the script. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't. This rule is a call to cultivate curiosity, humility, and openness in our conversations. We live in a world where talking often takes center stage. Social media, debates, podcasts, and even casual conversations are dominated by people speaking, sharing their thoughts, and voicing their opinions. But Peterson suggests that the real power lies in listening. Listening with intention and curiosity is a superpower that can unlock new ideas, perspectives, and insights we might never have considered. When we actively listen, we create space for others to share their knowledge and experiences. We allow ourselves to absorb information that we might otherwise overlook in our rush to respond. Listening is not just a passive activity. It's an active skill that requires us to set aside our egos, our judgments, and our need to be right. It's about giving others the room to speak, while we open our minds to the possibility that they might know something we don't. The temptation to always have the answer is a powerful one. Many of us have been conditioned to value speaking over listening, to think that our opinions are the most important in any conversation. But Peterson cautions against this mindset. Assuming we know everything closes the door to learning. When we approach a conversation with the belief that we already know it all, we limit our growth and miss out on opportunities to expand our understanding. Peterson's advice is to assume that everyone you meet has something valuable to teach you. This doesn't mean we should accept everything people say without question, but it does mean we should approach conversations with an open mind, free from the need to prove ourselves. When we listen to others with the assumption that they have something to offer, we open ourselves up to new ideas, new ways of thinking, and new solutions to problems we might not have considered. One of the most powerful ways to become a better listener is to cultivate curiosity. Curiosity drives us to ask questions, to dig deeper, and to understand the why behind someone's words. When we're curious, we're less focused on ourselves and more interested in the perspectives of others. Curiosity turns every conversation into an opportunity for growth. By asking open-ended questions, we allow the other person to share their thoughts more freely. We give them the space to express themselves fully, and in doing so, we show that we value their perspective. Curiosity also keeps our egos in check. When we listen with genuine interest, we step away from the need to dominate the conversation and instead embrace the role of a student, always learning, always growing. Listening isn't just about gaining knowledge. It's also about building stronger, more meaningful relationships. When we listen to others, we validate their experiences and emotions. We show that we care about what they have to say, that we respect their viewpoint, and that we're willing to invest our time and attention in the conversation. Strong relationships are built on trust and understanding, and listening is the key to both. When we take the time to listen, we foster deeper connections with others. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or a colleague, when people feel heard, they are more likely to trust us and open up to us in return. Listening helps us to understand their needs, desires, and struggles, which makes us better equipped to offer support, empathy, and guidance. One of the most profound insights Peterson offers is that everyone we encounter has something to teach us. This could be a life lesson, a new skill, a different perspective, or even a warning about a potential pitfall. Whether it's a colleague at work, a stranger on the street, or a close friend, each person has unique experiences that shape their worldview. By assuming that others have something valuable to offer, we can transform every interaction into a learning experience. This mindset helps us stay humble and open, reminding us that we don't have all the answers and that there's always room for growth. The more we listen, the more we learn, not just about the world, but also about ourselves. The takeaway from this rule is simple. Be curious. Listen more, talk less, and you'll learn more than you ever thought possible. Every conversation is an opportunity to discover something new, to gain insight, and to grow. By assuming that the person you are listening to knows something you don't, you open yourself up to endless possibilities for learning and connection. Listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding, connecting, and growing as a person. When we make a conscious effort to listen with curiosity and openness, we become better communicators, better learners, and better friends. So next time you're in a conversation, try to focus on listening first. You might be surprised by how much you can learn and how much deeper your relationships can become. Chapter 10. Be precise in your speech. Have you ever been caught in a conversation where things just seem to go off course? Maybe you meant one thing, but the words that came out led to confusion, frustration, or conflict. Words have incredible power. They shape how we think, how we relate to others, and how we experience the world around us. In Chapter 10 of 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson emphasizes the importance of being precise in your speech. Our words aren't just tools for communication. They shape our reality. What we say, how we say it, and the way we convey meaning can directly influence our relationships, work, and sense of self. Words are like the brushstrokes of a painting, each one contributing to the overall picture we create with our lives. Peterson believes that precision in speech is a form of discipline and responsibility because it allows us to express our thoughts clearly without leaving room for misunderstanding. When we're careless with language, we risk creating confusion or, even worse, chaos. A vague statement can be misinterpreted, leading to frustration or conflict. On the other hand, being precise allows us to articulate our thoughts clearly, reducing the chances of confusion and creating a better understanding between people. Precision in speech helps us convey our intentions, beliefs, and desires in ways that make sense to others, while also giving us the opportunity to reflect on what we truly mean. One of the main pitfalls in communication is vagueness. How often have you heard someone say something like, "I feel like things aren't going well," or "I just need some time to think about it"? While these phrases may sound harmless, they are filled with ambiguity. The person speaking may have a particular thought or emotion in mind, but the lack of specificity prevents others from truly understanding their position. Vagueness often stems from a fear of conflict or discomfort. We may avoid being direct in order to sidestep difficult conversations, but this only leads to greater misunderstandings. Peterson argues that vagueness in speech can create a distorted reality. It leaves things unclear, open to interpretation, and ultimately unhelpful. When we aren't precise, we risk building a life based on half-truths and uncertainty, both for ourselves and those around us. The foundation of precise speech lies in honesty. Being clear with your words means being honest about what you truly think and feel. Honesty is not just about telling the truth, it's about saying exactly what you mean. If you're vague or evasive in your communication, you leave space for others to fill in the gaps, often with assumptions or interpretations that may not align with your true intentions. Peterson encourages us to resist the urge to mask our thoughts with generalizations or euphemisms. Instead, we should strive to speak with clarity, even if it's uncomfortable. Honesty doesn't just mean sharing facts. It's about expressing ourselves in a way that others can understand and respond to. When we communicate precisely, we invite honest, meaningful conversations that can lead to growth and connection. Clear communication also builds trust. When we speak with precision, we show others that we value their time and attention. We respect them enough to be clear and direct, and in turn, they are more likely to trust us. This is especially important in professional and personal relationships, where clarity can prevent confusion, conflict, and misalignment. If you've ever been in a situation where someone was vague or unclear, you know how frustrating it can be. It's hard to know how to respond or what actions to take when the message isn't clear. Conversely, when someone speaks directly and precisely, we know exactly where we stand, which leads to stronger, more effective relationships. Being precise in your speech isn't just about communicating with others. It's also about understanding yourself. When you take the time to choose your words carefully, you often gain a clearer sense of your own thoughts and feelings. This process of reflection forces you to articulate what you truly believe and want, rather than settling for vague or generalized statements. Peterson suggests that being precise in speech can help us navigate the complexities of life. By clearly defining our goals, desires, and intentions, we become better equipped to pursue meaningful actions. When we speak precisely, we clarify our own understanding of the world, which helps us make better decisions and take more purposeful actions. The core message of this rule is simple. Say what you mean, and mean what you say. Clarity is power. Precision in speech is an act of personal responsibility. It forces us to be clear, honest, and intentional in our communication. When we master the art of speaking clearly, we reduce misunderstandings, foster stronger relationships, and gain a deeper understanding of ourselves. By choosing our words carefully, we not only express ourselves more effectively, but we also take ownership of our thoughts and actions. Precision in speech doesn't just make us better communicators. It empowers us to live more deliberately and meaningfully. So the next time you find yourself speaking, take a moment to be precise. Your words are powerful, and with clarity comes control. Chapter 11. Do not bother children when they are skateboarding. Life is full of risks, but it's in those moments of risk that we truly grow. In Chapter 11 of 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson draws a powerful metaphor between life's challenges and skateboarding. Skateboarding, like life, is risky, but it's also incredibly valuable. It teaches lessons of balance, perseverance, and resilience. Peterson's advice here is simple yet profound. Don't interfere with others, particularly children, when they're taking risks. At first glance, it may seem counterintuitive to allow children or loved ones to take risks, especially when we care about their safety and well-being. However, Peterson argues that risk is essential for growth. Just as children learn to ride a bike or skateboard by falling and getting back up, they learn valuable life lessons by confronting challenges head-on. Risk allows us to step outside our comfort zones, to face fears, and to discover what we're truly capable of. In the context of skateboarding, the child may fall, scrape their knee, or face moments of frustration. But those experiences teach resilience. Failure, in this case, isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace because it ultimately builds strength, character, and a sense of accomplishment. Imagine a world where children were never allowed to take risks, where every fall was prevented, every scrape avoided, and every challenge bypassed. Without failure, there is no resilience. Peterson argues that the true lesson of skateboarding, and life in general, is the ability to get back up after you fall. Resilience is forged in those moments when you're faced with adversity, when you have to pick yourself up, try again, and push forward, no matter how many times you fail. This rule is about more than just allowing children to fall. It's about fostering a sense of courage and determination. When children are allowed to face challenges, they build the mental toughness needed to navigate life's uncertainties. It's through taking risks that we develop a sense of mastery and control over our own lives. The more we challenge ourselves, the more capable we become of handling life's inevitable hurdles. Peterson emphasizes that this rule is particularly important for children. Kids need space to explore, experiment, and make mistakes. By protecting them from every potential danger, we unintentionally rob them of the opportunity to learn valuable lessons. Instead of sheltering them from risk, we should encourage them to take chances, face challenges, and deal with the consequences. It's easy for parents and guardians to become overly protective, especially when they see their children struggling or facing danger. However, a child who is never allowed to take risks will struggle to adapt to the complexities of adulthood. Life is filled with obstacles, setbacks, and challenges that can't always be avoided. By allowing children to navigate these hurdles from an early age, we prepare them for the future. One of the biggest benefits of taking risks is the chance to learn from failure. Peterson believes that failure isn't something to be feared. It's an essential component of learning. Just as a skateboarder learns balance through falls, we learn life's most valuable lessons through our mistakes. When we fail, we have an opportunity to reflect, adjust our approach, and try again with more wisdom and strength. The key is not to avoid failure, but to learn how to bounce back from it. Failure, when approached with the right mindset, is an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. The sooner we embrace this idea, the more equipped we are to handle life's challenges and uncertainties. Peterson's rule also speaks to the broader concept of exploration and discovery. Life is meant to be lived with curiosity, wonder, and boldness. Just as a child is encouraged to experiment with skateboarding, we should encourage exploration in all areas of our lives. Whether it's pursuing a new career, traveling to unfamiliar places, or trying something outside our comfort zone. Growth happens when we dare to step into the unknown. By encouraging risk-taking in a healthy and mindful way, we become more adaptable, creative, and resilient individuals. When we embrace challenges, we discover our true potential, the skills, strengths, and abilities we never knew we had until we were forced to stretch ourselves. The core message of Chapter 11 is clear: embrace risk. Whether it's skateboarding, starting a new project, or confronting your fears, risk is an essential part of growth. Life doesn't come with a guarantee of safety, but it does come with the opportunity to learn, grow, and discover our potential. Just as a child learns to skateboard by facing the risk of falling, we too must face life's risks if we want to grow into the best versions of ourselves. Don't shy away from challenges. Don't be afraid to fail. Instead, embrace the unknown, face your fears, and rise after every fall. The risks we take are the stepping stones to the success and growth we seek. Chapter 12. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. Life can sometimes feel overwhelming, like an endless series of challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. It's easy to become so consumed by our problems that we forget to stop and appreciate the small, beautiful moments that life has to offer. In 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson's 12th rule, pet a cat when you encounter one on the street, offers a simple yet profound piece of advice. In the face of hardship, take a moment to enjoy life's small pleasures. At first glance, this rule might seem trivial. After all, how does petting a cat help us navigate the complexities of life? But Peterson's point is deeper than just the act of petting a cat. He's urging us to acknowledge and appreciate the fleeting moments of beauty that can bring comfort and joy in our lives, especially when we're going through difficult times. Life is full of challenges, but there are also countless simple pleasures that offer respite, moments that can bring a sense of peace and gratitude when we need it most. Think about it. How often do we rush through life, head down, focused only on the tasks at hand, the problems to solve, and the goals to achieve? Peterson suggests that by slowing down and paying attention to these small moments of beauty, whether it's a cat on the street, a sunset, or a smile from a stranger, we reconnect with something greater than ourselves. These moments can remind us that life isn't just about surviving. It's also about experiencing joy, even in the midst of suffering. Peterson doesn't suggest that we ignore life's hardships. In fact, he acknowledges the difficulties we face every day, whether it's personal struggles, societal challenges, or existential concerns. Life isn't always kind, and suffering is an unavoidable part of the human experience. But he also believes that in the midst of darkness, we can find light. The cat on the street represents this light, a brief, yet significant, moment that can offer comfort and respite from the harshness of life. Petting a cat doesn't solve our problems, but it gives us a break from them, allowing us to recenter ourselves and find some peace. Peterson's rule encourages us to stop and notice these fleeting moments of beauty because they remind us that life is still worth living, even when things feel bleak. The act of petting a cat symbolizes the power of gratitude. Gratitude isn't just about big accomplishments or grand achievements. It's about appreciating the small things that bring us joy and comfort. Whether it's a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a quiet walk in the park, or the sound of birds chirping, these little moments are a reminder that life isn't just about the big, dramatic events. It's the collection of small, meaningful moments that make life truly worth living. Peterson's advice to pet a cat is a metaphor for this mindset. When we face challenges, we can get lost in the weight of it all. But if we take a step back, appreciate the little things, and practice gratitude, we begin to shift our focus away from what's wrong to what's right. This shift can transform our perspective and bring a sense of calm and contentment. This rule also emphasizes the importance of mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment. Petting a cat when you encounter one on the street is an act of mindfulness. It's about stopping whatever you're doing and immersing yourself in the experience, appreciating the softness of the cat's fur, the warmth of its presence, and the simple joy of the connection. In a world that's constantly moving, taking moments to be present and mindful can help us combat stress and anxiety, which are often born from thinking about the future or dwelling on the past. When we focus on the present, we open ourselves up to the beauty and joy that surrounds us. Peterson's 12th rule is ultimately about the importance of finding meaning in life's simple, everyday moments. While life may be filled with struggles, it's also filled with opportunities for joy, gratitude, and connection. The act of petting a cat represents the idea that no matter how hard things get, we can always find something small to appreciate, a moment that offers peace, comfort, and meaning. This rule encourages us to slow down, be present, and embrace the simple pleasures that life has to offer. These moments may not change the course of our lives, but they can provide us with a sense of grounding and gratitude, helping us navigate through the tough times with a bit more grace and resilience. Peterson's rule to pet a cat when you encounter one on the street reminds us to find joy in the little things. Life is challenging, and it's easy to get caught up in the struggles and difficulties we face. But by taking a moment to appreciate the beauty around us, whether it's a cat, a sunset, or a smile, we reconnect with the present moment and embrace the simple pleasures that make life meaningful. So, the next time you're feeling overwhelmed or lost in the chaos of life, remember Peterson's advice. Take a moment to pause, appreciate the small moments of beauty, and let gratitude fill your heart. It's these simple moments that make life worth living. Conclusion. And there you have it. 12 rules designed to help you bring order to the chaos of life, to shape a future full of meaning, purpose, and responsibility. Each rule serves as a compass, offering us guidance on how to live with courage, intention, and a deeper sense of accountability. From standing tall in the face of adversity to finding joy in life's simplest pleasures, these principles encourage us to embrace the challenges that come with growth and the choices that shape our destiny. But the true impact of these rules doesn't come from just reading them. It comes from living them. They're not meant to sit on a shelf, waiting to be admired. They're meant to be put into action. Every rule is a call to transform your mindset, your relationships, and your daily choices. So, why not take the next step? If these ideas resonated with you, why not pick up 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson and dive even deeper into his wisdom? There's so much more to explore, and the journey doesn't have to stop here. Remember, the path to a better life starts with just one step, or in this case, one rule. Which one will you start with today? Will you begin by cleaning your room, standing up straight, or choosing to pursue what's truly meaningful over what's easy? The power to change your life lies in your hands, and it all begins with taking that first step. So, as you move forward, carry these rules with you and let them guide you through life's complexities. It's time to take responsibility for your own story, to embrace the challenges that come with growth, and to begin living a life that's not just about surviving, but truly thriving.